Hey, welcome to Invest. So in this Appendix 4C video, I'll be looking at a company called Spectur, ticker code's SP3. This was one of the companies that was on my companies to look at during October 2020. They were very small market cap, something like 6 or 7 million. They were close to being cash flow positive. So I thought if they can become consistently cash flow positive, bringing in cash into the company on a consistent basis, that $6 to $7 million market cap would look fairly cheap, and we could see a good runway of share price appreciation over the next few years. So very interested to see how they were doing. The previous few quarters, the cash receipts wasn't growing, so that's another reason I was interested to see if they can stop that downtrend in cash receipts. So let's get into it. And when I saw this, the first thing that sort of popped into my head was disappointed. So I was quite disappointed with this. So cash receipts from customers was 1.032 million, which I know just from memory that's a little bit lower than what they're experiencing over the last few quarters. And the operating cash flow was negative 325,000, and that's even taken into account they did get $323,000 from government grants and tax incentives. So more than likely that negative, or the cash burn, was $600,000 or so. So this was disappointing on first look, and the market actually did respond to that. So this is their history of cash receipts going back to when they IPO'd in October 2017. And you can see there was some good growth there. Not good, we'll say it's consistently slow growth, but that's okay. I've seen other companies have that sort of slow growth and then still see their share price take off. MyNetPhone was one, although they're not called MyNetPhone anymore. They're MNF Group, yeah. Anyway, and they did get to a peak of $1.5 million of cash receipts in July 19 through January 20, and then we've seen those cash receipts come back. Is this going to be a consistent trend downwards, or is it just a few quarters of lower growth? Because as I go to the next slide, they have launched a new platform which maybe will see those cash receipts go up. And the company either expects it or is already seeing it happen. So they're starting to see stronger sales in October. So the report was a little bit bullish when you look at some of the things I was talking about, but that's not unusual. You would expect management to be bullish no matter what, and they'll try to highlight very positive things when they do their report, and that's very natural. So they did have stronger sales in October. In fact, they listed the revenue for 3 months, July, August, September, and we have seen a very slow growth from $320,000 to $370,000 in September. And as I mentioned, they've launched their latest platform, STA6. I don't know much about what's the difference between this platform and the older platform, but they are hoping this platform will generate more revenues, more cash in the future. They are growing rental revenues, so they do rent out some of their equipment, which you would expect some of that is recurring revenue too, so that's not a bad thing, although that's not something I'm overly interested in. And they did mention a strategic new additions of human capital. Now, human capital is something where my personal opinion is quite different than my investing opinion. So human capital just means employing more people. Now, socially, employing more people is actually a good thing for society, because you want as many people as possible to be employed. But for a business, in fact, employing more people is a negative thing, because human capital tends to be one of the biggest costs for a company. So if you can sort of limit the amount of human capital costs, that's actually a good thing. So initially when I saw this, I went, is this a good thing? Because we're going to see costs increase in the future. Now, they did say it's strategic, and strategic because it's supporting the growth in STA6. But this supporting the growth could be two ways you could look at this. Is it based off expectations of this new platform growing, or is it based off evidence that it is growing? It's two big differences there. Expectations don't always have to be met, but if they do have evidence of this growth or growth in interest in STA6, that's a little bit different, and that's something I could support. So the chart wise, yeah, so the market didn't take kindly to this report. It went down 14.29%. It did, the chart, share price did look like it was starting to form a bit of a base. We started to see those moving averages come together. And unfortunately, this was a negative, and we saw this sort of base drop down. Share price got as low as 5 cents, which is maybe not an all-time low, but fairly low towards the all-time low. And we did see this sell-off on pretty high volume as well, which is not a good sign. A little bit of buying today, not a lot, but so I'm recording this on the 21st of October. So unfortunately for long-term shareholders, have seen share price drop from, I think it was like 30 to 40 cents a few years ago. Unfortunately, this is not the quarterly cash flow you want to see to initiate the start of an uptrend in share price. I think you might have to wait a few more quarters. And once we do see the potential of this new uptrend, and if they do become cash flow positive, so quite a few ifs there, that's when I might become interested. So at the moment, I'm going to leave this on my watch list. I'm not interested in buying this company just yet, just because there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowns, and I want to see them. I want them to confirm to me they've reached an inflection point, and we're going to see this company's cash receipts and profitability grow into the future. So that's all I've got for Spectur. I actually do like them on Facebook, just because they do show what they're doing. That's all I've got for today, or this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, leave below. If not, then I'll talk to you in the next video. I won't talk to you directly because that would be sort of weird, but maybe I can have a live YouTube video in the future, maybe. Anyway, talk to you again in the future. I am not a professional advisor, so if you need to seek professional advice, make sure you speak to a professional. I'm just doing this for educational and entertainment purposes. See ya.